perception is, and this is what the game's about. Like, it's about perception. It's how you're looked at. As we go further into the book, it talks about status symbols and status trinkets and things like that. It's Casio or Rolex, they both tell the time, but one's a status symbol. When we pursue the great goals of our lives, we tend to focus on our happy ending. We want the qualification, the promotion, the milestone, the crown. These motivations that tend to spring to mind immediately are known by researchers as proximate. I thought it was more than that. They're absolutely real and valid, but they have other upstream ultimate causes, and that's on page 11. If you had to choose between status and money, which would you choose? Before you answer, there's a caveat. You could spend where you want, but be completely unknown regardless of how and where you spent it, whether charitable donations or naming parks or libraries after yourself, or have every door opened, can go anywhere and everywhere without putting your hand in your pocket, but have no money whatsoever.
It's a good scenario, but I would prefer to be anonymous and have the money and spend where I want, when I want, and no one knew who I am.
Why?
I don't want the lifestyle, bro. Like, as in, like, when I say I don't want the lifestyle, I don't want the fame. I don't want the fame. I don't need the popularity. I don't need any of that. Yeah, but I do want the comforts and the options that and the freedom, the financial freedom that would bring. I don't want anything else. I don't want to be going out having to wear a face mask because people reckon. I don't want all that. Don't want all that. Says a man sitting here on YouTube. But yeah, I don't want all that.
I was actually going to go back to something, but I'll answer this question first. So, like, you read something out earlier, and I highlighted it when I was reading earlier. So, back to the Stone Age, increased status meant greater influence, access to a wider choice of mates, or more security and resources for ourselves and our children. It still does today. So we're programmed to seek connection and rank, to be accepted into groups and win status within them. It's part of our nature. It's the game of human life. Apologies. I don't want none of this game. I want no part of this game. I was going to say this when you were talking. I want no part. That's the reason why I highlighted it. No part of this game. I don't want no rank. I don't want, as you just said, all right? I want to go under the radar. That's the game I'm playing at this moment in time. I don't want no one to bother me. Very similar to even, like, I was quite surprised to be able to rock ID cards, and that's not even like on the top of my radar in terms of thinking, generally speaking, because I know just based on the public outcry, I know more people are unhappy about it than I am. But that's because I've got other things going on. I forget even why I say that, but like, yeah, I just want no part of this status game. Do you know what I mean? Things we see, generally speaking, whether it's even social media is quite funny in that respect, as to people acting out, all right, or playing a character to get notoriety or to increase their status within what might be this social media thing. Like, I'm not going to speak to the things that I've done on social media, or I would actually, but like, what we're doing, as you mentioned before, is we're having a conversation in the living room. You know, that's the way you framed it, and that's the way I would like to behave. I want to be myself. I don't want to have to put on a mask and have to change the way I talk or change what I wear, etc., etc. I just want to be myself. The things I was putting out on social media in regards to my book and stuff like that, I want it to be as natural as possible. So like these things that happen in my car in terms of the questions, etc., etc., people are answering these questions with or without it being filmed. You know, I forget even the last question or whatever I had with someone, but I had a conversation on the weekend or Friday or what have you. Like, I have these conversations all the time. I just so happen to be putting on social media. I don't want to be part of this game where I'm trying to be, I don't know, I have 100 million subscribers, etc., etc. That's not my MO whatsoever. So I don't really want no part of that. So I would definitely take the money, and I would definitely want to be anonymous, generally speaking. I don't have a family. All right, in terms of like my immediate family, but you just want your friends and your family to be just as comfortable as possible. And I guess when you've lived a life, whether it's colourful, in fact, it doesn't even matter how you've lived your life, but specifically if it's colourful, you kind of want to just chill and coast. Do you know what I mean? I don't want no part of this game, but I understand a lot of the sentiments you said actually, because I don't know whether you're being contrarian, if that's the word, all right, but you've argued a point which pushes back against a lot of the things I would generally say. as to we are in this game whether you like it or not. Whereas a lot of the things I've said is I'm a part of this game.
All right, so you say you're not part of this game, but
No, I agree with you. So like you don't have to push back.
I can.
No, you are going to, I know, but I'm just letting you know.
You say you're not part of this game, but where you're saying it while sitting on a podcast that we're going to put out to a platform that potentially could see thousands, millions, and beyond, etc. Also, you're also on a different platform where, you, like you said, you promote your book, you promote your activities and stuff like that, and you would like to gain, if you could say a click of a snap or snap of a
Click of your fingers.
click of a fingers, touch a button, and you could get 100 million followers to be following you so they could purchase your book. Would you not want that?
100 million followers, that's too much. But I'll say this, honestly, because you know what I do?
Mate, talk to your boy.
Hold on 1 second. So this is what I'm going to say.
Mate, talk to your boy. Man.
Hold on, let me just say this. I actually did I did a couple of voice notes recently, all right? And I put them out as podcasts. I did one, so I put one out today, and I'll have one out next week, all right? And I probably often do those when a lot is going on. I'm like, I need to fucking talk to somebody, even if it's to myself. But one thing I often say in those voice notes, or I've done so a lot recently, is that this may go out to 5 people, it might go out to 500 people, and so on and so forth. But actually, some of my new reasons, let's say new or even like core reasons why I do this, is one day, hopefully, if I've gone back, I said children several times actually, but like if I have children, this, that, and the third, people will be able to go back and go, that was my friend, or that's my dad, or blah, blah, and they get to know you a lot better.
That's my dad.
I'm 40 years of age, haven't got any children at the moment in time. If I go on to have children, just say in the next, just say 5 years, all right? There's gonna be a lot my child doesn't know about me. A lot. And I'm not gonna have probably time, not even time actually, but just certain nuances, conversations. You're not gonna be able to tell your son or your daughter about some of the things that you went through, generally speaking. But they might be able to go back through what might be your YouTube channel or your podcast and go, interesting. Dad's thoughts on X, Y, Z. You might think, I disagree with that, by the way, but it's interesting his perspective.
So you're doing this to document your life?
Actually, I actually am. Sometimes, in some respect, yeah. Partly, this, no, we're just having a conversation, but some of the stuff that I do, I've got no problem in documenting my life.
Cool.
Very similar to a diary.
Cool. But that's still, you're still going to gain some sort of status out of it, right?
I'm glad you say that, because actually, I knew you were going to say this, all right, but...
The last time I seen pre-recorded, but then go on.
No.
Go on.
No, the reason why I say that is because, as someone who works in education and stuff like that, like, I actually feel like, no, we don't have a duty. And anyway, I just think everything's an opportunity to teach and help people. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's very important. So I said this in my recording today. As to, you may be a driver, or like, just given what's going on in today's world, you might actually understand how I feel based on what I'm going through. And I'm hoping you either take some entertainment from what I'm talking about, or you can sympathize and you can learn from it. So like even some of the stuff that we were talking about last week, where I was talking to the rider and I was saying what he is, and when he was like, and do you know what I mean? So I kind of, I didn't want to go for it. So I knew I couldn't tell that story properly. All right. What was I going to say? I knew I couldn't tell that story properly, but like, I know there'll be drivers.
You could tell that story, you just omit certain words.
Yeah, so I know there'll be other drivers who will understand what I'm talking about, or there'll be people like yourself, when I've told these stories, who just end up just laughing because they find it entertaining. But like in everything I tell...
See, that's a great point though. I don't even mean to cut you off, because you told that story to us, obviously between us, whatnot. And
everything stands.
I'm not disputing that. But a moment ago you were saying about, and I'm not even trying to...
That's cool because I'm comfortable.
But a moment ago you were saying about being your authentic self. You would never put that on. Do
you know why?
Ever. Why? Go on.
Because I've already been banned. So I'm not trying to. So like, no, because even when I even said it.
So how authentic is it? Because, and I'm not trying to tish you up or nothing.
No.
The reality is, when we come on air, but when we speak on air, when we have conversations, without trying again, there are masks on. Because we can't be our complete selves on these cameras. Let's have it right. Because we know in this game that we're playing, you can't say certain things.
Yeah.
Or you can say certain things, but just expect the repercussions are going to be mad for you. Do you know what I'm saying? So there is that. We still have to take certain things in consideration and play the game. Do you know what I'm saying?
No. I do know what you're saying. So yeah, so I can't disagree with that. So I don't have a rebuttal.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have a rebuttal.
So
what do you want? You want the doors open for you? Do you want to be the known man?
No.
You want the money?
I'm completely. Give me the money and let me fuck off somewhere. Completely. Like, I don't want. Bruv, you lot know me personally. I'm not with the being known and like everyone. Yeah, that's a complete turn off for me. So yeah, and I'll definitely go for the money over the status any given Sunday. Yeah, 100%.
See, people who live in it. Do you reckon any part of them thinks I'm a fraud?
Anyone who what?
That would live like that, where
of course,
where they've got this status, like they portray this act that they've made it, or they have all this wealth, knowing they've got zilch in the bank, but because maybe they've got some kind of status or something, and they'll happily take do you want to come to this exclusive launch? You want to stay in this hotel for free? Like, do you want to come to the F1? Do you know what I'm saying?
100%. And yeah, okay. So again, some of the beautiful things about this podcast or the conversations and us reading the books is, I said it before we started, or we discussed it before we started, as to, I took away like some thoughts based on reading The Money Ladder, and actually I realised it actually had an impact on me. I tell you what, for free, there's gonna be a lot of people, or there are a lot of people who are living a lifestyle, all right, currently at this moment in time, and if they continue living that lifestyle, they're going to bear the fruits of that lifestyle, as in like, they're not gonna have a pot to piss in, which is what Franklin Asante was talking about in regards to kind of like cutting your cloth accordingly, etc., etc. I know he said a lot more than that, but I guess what I'm saying is that like, the learnings and the teachings from that book showed me was that actually you need, I mean, I had pots anyway, but make sure you're consciously and actively doing X, Y, Z, because in 40 years time, roughly, all right, it's going to be retirement. And if you don't have a home, which is not a problem actually, but if you don't have enough money to rent said home, all right, at that age, and you don't have a lot of money coming in, you don't have assets, you don't have X, Y, Z, you're going to have a serious problem. And if you believe this country is going to look after you at that given point, you are sadly mistaken. So this status thing, in regards to what some people are portraying or chasing or what have you, that is going to lead down a dark, dark tunnel at some given point. Or actually, it's a nice game to play at this moment in time, but you better change the game that you're playing at some point. But we're big 40. I'm not trying to play these games.
What was the question you asked again?
To yourself.
Yeah, you just posed the question. I was going to answer, but I was listening to P.
You answered it. Was it the one about? I said, what would be your take?
Nah, after that.
Hex?
I can't remember. I thought that was your question.
I can't remember.
No, you added something to it after, but no, it's cool. It's gone. It's all right. All right, now we'll move on. That's cool. Attainment or status or its loss was the strongest predictor of long.
I remember now.
Go on.
So it was about, do you think people live like that essentially?
Yeah, I think people definitely live like that and are deluded to a point where they would happily go with that. And don't get me wrong, each to their own. If that's how you want to live, get how you live. Cool, whatever's important to you is important to you. Cool. My perspective's different, but we all have different perspectives and we're allowed to. But I do think people that kind of strive for status only, like I said, I think there's things that they're trying to almost, I guess, and I think it's even for both sides, because you're trying to fill a void of some sort. So if someone chooses status over money, they're trying to fill that void with something else, and vice versa. If you want to fill that void of money, then you try and it's still a void somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So it's two sides of the same coin, essentially. But I do think, yeah, people that are happily going around, I guess, masquerading like there's something that they're not, in their mind, if it's working, it's a game that they're playing and it's working. Like I said initially, it's all perception. Perception is, and this is what the game's about. Like, it's about perception. It's how you're looked at. As we go further into the book, it talks about status symbols and status trinkets and things like that. It's Casio or Rolex, they both tell the time, but one's a status symbol, one, like, they're both status symbols to a degree, but one's ranked higher than the other in some people's worlds. Not in everyone's, but in some people's worlds. All right, so attainment of status or its loss was the strongest predictor of long-term positive and negative feelings. Elsewhere, an extensive review of the scientific literature concluded that the importance of status was observed across individuals who differed in culture, gender, age, and personality. Then it goes on to say the relevant evidence suggests that the desire for status is indeed fundamental, and that's on page 12. 2. Getting along, getting ahead. Open the door, step out of it, and there it is. The world in all its hustle and wonder. The story we're often told is that with sufficient application of self-belief and effort, we can do anything we want and be whoever we want, and that's on page 13. Do you believe the story?
That you can be anything you want.
You can do anything you want and be whoever you want.
I believe that, yeah. I do. Yeah, I do. So no, I was just thinking the phrase I always say. I believe you can have your cake and eat it, kind of thing. I know the phrase is a little bit different. You can't have your cake and eat it, but I believe you can have everything and more. I've always believed that. And that might be an optimism thing. It just might be who I am, like by design. It might be, or it might speak to some of the things I generally want in life, and would like to attain in some respects. And I think of myself as no different than you or yourself. And I believe you yourself can achieve anything you want as well. Like, for example, you might not have the same sort of belief as me, but like, I believe you can do those sort of things too. So yeah, I believe that you can achieve everything you want, or you can have your cake and eat it. I've always believed that, yes.
Where do you think that comes from?
Starving. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I think I've always just believed that I'm good enough. Yeah, I've always believed I'm good enough. I think I've demonstrated at periods and points in my life that I'm good enough. I think there's different periods in my life where I've maybe shown to myself I can overcome obstacles, etc., etc. And I just think that gives you the strength of desire, will, and I think it's proof, because I think ultimately, once you've shown or proven to yourself that you can do something, or to other people, forget other people, but like once you've shown you can do it, I think it gives you the, it just gives you, there's an extra, like, I don't want to say vim, but there's an extra something there that goes, you know what, this can be done, this can be achieved. Or sometimes, like, I don't know if I've said this to you, like, you might have said this before, but I know I've said it. You said that, like, teachers have said to you that, like, you're, like, either a special character or they believe in you and all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I've had that, like, during the course of my life as well. And obviously these people would have been older than us, and they would have seen people, they would have taught people, you know, before us, like generations before. Anyway, yeah, taught people before us, and I think they would have seen like special qualities or qualities within us that gives them the, I don't know, give them the thought that actually, you know, this kid is special. This kid achieve X, Y, Z. Yeah, and it even speaks to actually me just always. I know it's not necessarily true, but I've always believed that people know what they want. They're just, you know, veering to the left and veering to the right, whereas I think I've been very clear with what I want from the very onset, like kind of from the age of 15, 16, even younger, very clear. And, you know, sometimes things just get in your way, but like right now, you're just kind of like moving things to the side kind of thing as to, now I know I'm going, I actually have time, you know, whereas once upon a time I didn't think I had time, whereas now I think I've got a lot of time in my hands, you know, and that might be just due to actually successfully navigating the past, let's say 3, 4, even 5 years. Whereas now I'm quite comfortable where I am. I guess the only thing bothering me is that I ain't got enough money in my pocket, or I wish I had more money in my pocket. You know what I mean? And that's not even due to, because I was going to add something to, I think, something you said, it might have been your question or something like that. But hopefully it touches on the point anyway. I don't want money for... so Lawrence always laughs as to something I say every week, as to, I just want peace. You know what I mean? Peace is what I want. I couldn't give a F about the status. And generally speaking, I don't really care about the money. Obviously, I understand what money brings. With the money, all right, hopefully it buys me time to have a bit of peace. Do you know what I mean? But I'm very aware money's not going to give me peace. This is going to give me the opportunity to have a bit of peace. Do you know what I mean? Have a few days off and all that type of stuff. Well, anyway, I hope that answers the question anyway. But yeah, peace is what I'm also wanting.
Do you know what? I used to. And as I've got older, my opinions dwindled quite significantly.
Talk on it.
I don't know. I think when I was younger, I used to think I could be certain things that, and then I don't know if as I've got older that the opportunities haven't arisen, or that I've started to realise that almost like I've grown into the real world and it's hit, and it's been like, actually for these opportunities to manifest themselves, you're very fortunate if it all happens naturally, but in some ways you got to sell a part of you or definitely play a game, be a someone that maybe doesn't sit with you right. And as I've got older, almost I wouldn't say my ambitions dwindle, but I've definitely thought like actually it's not by accident that certain people are where they are in life. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, true. So
yeah, as I've got older, I've started to realize actually, and it does. The good thing is it doesn't bother me. As in, like, I'm not like, oh man, I'm never gonna get to none of that. Because actually, the older I get, things like that actually mean a lot less to me. Like these kind of certain statuses that people might hold, they mean a lot less to me, and I value other things a lot more. So I think the younger me would have said, yeah, like similar to Pocker's Enthusiasm, yeah, you can 100% be what you want to be, anything you want in this world. I had that, I used to feel like that. The older me is almost, I don't know if it's a sense of realism, because that's wrong for me to say, because it's almost like I'm saying it's not possible, because it is, but the older me is just a bit more realistic, a bit more actually, I don't want those things, and there's things that I might have thought I wanted, I don't want anyway, but secondly, actually, people are not where they are because they've only just worked hard and stayed to the core. It does happen, but in a lot of cases, it's not like that. That's what I've kind of like, when I've opened my eyes and ears and just seen things that, yeah. So my answer, if you ask me right now, is no. But if you'd ask me maybe like 25, 30 years ago, to say, yeah, you can do it. You can be anything. You can do anything you want. You can do. So yeah, maybe it's just older age and yeah.
Is that cynicism? I don't know if I've said the word correct.
Remind me what the meaning of that again.
Let's say overcritical. Yeah.
Because I always think cynic is like how can I put it? Negative.
Negative. Yeah, that's what I mean. But that's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, so I've used the right word. I just haven't explained it well enough.
I hope it's not. I just think like.
Sorry, because the reason.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I understand why you said what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, like, okay, so if I'm using myself as an example, I'm fully aware of what he's talking about. All right, but I wouldn't even. So I couldn't give a fuck about that. What if them men are doing voodoo or whatever it is, they can do. I'm over exaggerating, right? They can do that shit over there. I'm staying pure to myself, etc., and I'm going that way. And even some of the things that I'm doing, I don't want to go into all that type of stuff. Is I've realised, like, take what I say with a pinch of salt. I realise a lot of people are not even looking at what I'm looking at. Do you know what I mean? Like we're all in the same field, but they're not looking at. Do you know? I picked up someone. I don't know if he's a rapper. I don't want to say his name. All right, picked up a rapper this week. Something like that. And we were just chatting, and he was quite philosophical, and we were talking about success, and he was talking about his religion. He's in conflict with his religion. So he was Muslim, and he was in conflict with his religion, as to whether he should be rapping or not. He wears a mask, and so I'm thinking too much as I'm speaking. And we went on to talk as to. I was saying that, like, I genuinely believe there's enough seconds minutes time in a day for everyone to have their moment in life. Not everybody will, all right? But I believe that. Like, some people just want to be, for example, if we're using football, some people, their dream is just to win an England cap. Like, you know, someone got their moment last week. I'm just using an example. And that's their moment. Some people want to be European Cup winners. There's just say 25, 30 in a squad. That's their moment this year. Next year, another 25 will happen. Do you know what I mean? There could be 25 in that squad and a backroom staff of 50, 60. Those 50, 60 is their dream, just to be part of that team, part of that group as a physio. I think everyone will have their moment, I believe, if they want it. And that's just the way I just generally look at things like that. You know, like, perfect. Ghana qualified for the World Cup, I think yesterday. It's some people's dream just to play in the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how many players will play the World Cup. Just say 200. I'm sure it might be way more. It's 48 teams, definitely more than that. It's going to a lot of people are going to fulfill their dreams. Cape Verde qualified for the first time for the World Cup. A lot of people are going to, fulfill their dreams. And do you know what I mean? Someone I know is playing for Sao Tome. Like, I was a bit surprised. I said, really? Is he playing? Blah. Like, I don't know if they're going to qualify or not, but it's a dream come true. Probably he might not have saw that, I don't know, 12, 24 months ago. I don't know how long he's been playing for Sao Tome, but like, you know, and I just feel everyone gets their time in a moment. They can get their time in a moment. Just like, you know, there's plenty of books that we've read as to people at the age of 40, 50, then cracking on, you know? We're not even reached 40 or 50 yet. I think there's plenty of time. But as to even like, it's mad, as you were talking initially, I didn't want to say it. The idea of writing a book only came from when he was talking about writing a book many, many moons ago. I'm talking about like, I think it might be, I don't know if it was before we started meeting, but like way, 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 way back, Mason was talking about writing a book.
Yeah, it was definitely before.
Yeah.
Because that was, when we first started linking up to read the book and chill, I think that was in the air.
Way, way, way back. So it's like wow, like, oh, write a book. And then just, you know, from there, like in your mind, you know, you plant a seed and all of a sudden, like, you think, oh, I might be to write a book. Do you know what I mean? In fact, I did start writing because something completely different. And eventually, you know, it became something else. Yeah. I just think, I want to, nothing to do with not allowing people to, but it's just the way I am. And I'm very sorry, I know I've gone on tangents today, but these stuff here, I'm very passionate about. Very, very passionate about.
I would say my answer is a mixture of both. I would definitely tell my younger self or a younger version of me or just someone, younger sibling, whether friend, family or indifferent, that they could be anything that they want. I would definitely be positive. I would give them a positive reaffirmation that they can be whatever they want and do whatever they want. I definitely believe in that. However, like May said, not that I've become jaded, but I'm also more aware of the workings of this world and the society that we live in, especially in the Western society, in this country, in this city, that as we know, when we was growing up, we was always told you're going to have to work twice as hard to get wherever your counterpart is, no matter what it is you do. Like, we was told that from the jump. As you grow older and you realise how true that is and how much more of a head start some people are in life, you realise, oh, they've been given information that I've not been privy to until I'm an adult, and I've had to work out certain things, and I'm starting to realise certain things, like you know, when you're younger in primary school, they're like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up and you become an adult? And some big people might say, I want to be a firefighter, or some might say, I want to be the Prime Minister. If I had thought to myself, I would want to be a Prime Minister back then, the reality of me doing it, I'm not saying it would have been impossible, but it would have been very unlikely given my humble beginnings. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying it won't ever happen where we won't see a black Prime Minister, but I'm also aware that you need to be within certain circles and be amongst certain schools and have certain connections with this right complexion to be able to get to certain doors and have certain doors open for you.
Or, so at the moment, in this present day, there's a leader of one of our major parties, right? And that specific leader has denounced themselves from their culture and heritage openly, publicly.
Yeah.
Do you go, and this is the point I get to in terms of...
Yeah, you have to let certain things go in order for you to go to a place. But you're not, I don't want to say get heavy and say you're selling your soul, but to an extent, you're selling a part of yourself to be accepted into a world that may not necessarily take you as you are. You need to show us that you're one of us, not one of them, for you to get in here and be where you want to be.
Yeah.
And my answer's a bit, it's almost in a grey area, because I definitely still believe in becoming whatever you want and living the life that you would like to do and being positive and having that positive energy and putting things, your words have power, so if you say it, then it will become. But at the same time, I'm also aware of the games, the status games that are interwoven into society, and how hard it is and how hard it can be to really get your leg up in certain positions. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. There are outliers out there, but just as a whole, it's in like every Tom, Dick and Harry's gonna be able to do that. I don't see it happening. I don't think any and everyone can be whatever they want and do whatever they want. I just don't think it's realistic, and it's just not how the system's built. We wasn't made to go to school to be whatever you want. We was made to go to school to be workers within the system, and that's that. But yeah, like I said, my answer is in the grey area, because I do believe both sides of the same coin.
I was going to, sorry, I don't want to answer, I don't want to have a rebuttal or answer everything.
Go for it.
No, because I can feel my mind, so this type of subject I like, but I can feel my mind's going here, and then it's going here, and it's going here. So like, you both mentioned political people, so like, that was my first thing actually, before you mentioned, I won't even say a name. All right, just make me mad. All right, so, but I'll say, I forgot his bloody name. He was a Labour Party leader, and then he...
Yeah, Corbyn.
Thank you, sorry. So Jeremy Corbyn, all right, so like, let's say it was his dream, I don't know what his dream was, but like he wanted to be the Prime Minister. All right, so, but we'll say it was his dream. I can't speak on his behalf, but I feel he's achieved greater success based on him standing on his beliefs, whether people want to choose to believe them or not, all right? And I'm trying to forget all the negative stuff. What I'm saying is, the people have celebrated him for standing for what he believes in, and I feel that is a greater success, in my humble opinion. So that's the one of the first things that I wanted to say. And then even the second thing, which speaks to some of the things that I spoke about very recently in terms of me going to Ghana, this, that, and the third. And I don't know if you mentioned someone else, but I wanted to use EYL as an example, like, because I see this in their content, which is, and they spoke about it a lot. Like, they're going around Africa and looking at loads of different opportunities, etc., etc. And of course, they might be filming content, but I know they're going there for their own. They're doing research for themselves, but obviously they're, you know, sharing their experience and stuff like that. I think what I'm trying to say is, I know they've said this themselves. They can quite clearly see there are huge opportunities here to be successful. I mean, not just like. So I don't know, I'm assuming, let me run with the idea or the notion that they're millionaires, all right? They've got huge opportunities to 10x, 20x, 100x their net worth by going to somewhere in Africa, all right? Because the opportunities are there. Like, and there's a lot of people who are playing the game and they can only play in London. There's no one, it's just impossible from my perspective to play that game and try to win it in London or the UK. Go branch out. There's plenty of opportunities to play that game elsewhere. And I think within that, you can be successful. Just my perspective. But then people need to have the foresight. You need to be able to spread your wings, and you need to be prepared to do the dog work, you know, the leg work, in order to go to these places and do your research, which is... Obviously, Oscar came with me to Ghana. Do you know what I mean? And in some respects, I don't know if he was surprised or not, but like, I'll just roll the streets. I don't give a damn about nothing, bro. Do you know what I mean? I roll the streets late, early in the morning, late at night. Do you know what I mean? There were times where like we had trials or stuff like that. They went back to the hotel or wherever it was, and I was like, I'm going back. I saw something. Do you know what I mean? I saw something. I'm going back. And then you learn more. Do you know what I mean? And that's what took me to go watch the Ghanaian national team train. It was like, do you know what I mean? Because my instincts told me something. I've been here before. Based on even me traveling and all that type of stuff, your instincts, something's here. Do you know what I mean? But these I want to go back. So I want to go back to begin with, but I'm coming back immediately. Do you know what I mean? And again, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole as such, but I just feel like we are playing the game on an island when there's so much more to this earth, you know, to navigate and to see. I was listening to someone say something funny on YouTube, on IG today, but it speaks to how much of the earth, like obviously we've seen a lot of the earth, but how much of the water haven't we seen?
I don't know the percentage.
I don't know. You usually got them sort of stats. So like, that's why I asked you. But like they say that we've barely covered or seen like so much of the water before. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like a lot of us can only play the game in London. You know, as they say, like a lot of people can't even like navigate outside of their state and all that type of stuff. I'm assuming to when they're younger and stuff like that. It's like we're too like, I'm not talking about black people, I'm talking about general. Like we're too like, imagine living in Hertfordshire. Oh my God, okay. Oh, headache. Oh, I can only buy a house in London. Oh, do you know what I mean? Lawrence mentioned it only a couple of weeks ago. People are only trying to buy houses in London. Like he said, he didn't buy a house in London to begin with. Went out, then eventually came back in. We're spoiled, man.
All right, so you mentioned Ghana, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you not think that they play the status game over there?
I do. There's a big status game over there.
Okay.
I'm not playing that game though. I'm not playing. Not that game anyway.
What game you playing?
My own. I want just put me by the beach somewhere.
You're bullshitting, man. Get the fuck out of here.
I'll put me by the beach and just.
Well, you're playing the game over there regardless. You can't escape playing the game. Like when you go over there, you've got status just by being UK born, London raised. You've got a UEFA B certificate. You've got prestige because you've worked with professional clubs in the Premier League. So that in itself, you've got status. You can't deny it because you do have it because it's there. You've proved it. You've got the track record. You've got the CV. So when you step over there, you're stepping with status.
I'm very.
Do you not see that?
I can't deny it. So I can't. Sorry.
People only want to turn as Charles as someone from London and blah blah blah. That's why they're turning up.
Oh no, I'm very aware of those things.
So you can't say you're not playing the game because you're playing the game without even trying to play the game.
No, so we're not talking about two different statuses, all right? But like, I guess generally speak, sorry. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not playing the game a lot. So a lot of the games that I see here in the UK, whether it's social media games, all that type of stuff, or what's the word I'm looking for? Do you know, just like smoke and mirrors, and I'm not playing smoke and mirrors. Do you know what I mean? I'm not doing that. Or I'm not going to, I don't know, to Ghana to look at the road. Do you know,
I'm not saying I've not mentioned that.
No. I know you're not saying that, but what I'm saying is I'm not playing those type of games.
But you're still playing a status game.
I'm playing Andrew's game.
He just doesn't want to just admit it. Like, he just doesn't want to admit it.
I know what I said before. I understand the level of. I understand what you're talking about. But I'm not playing the game.